Welcome back to Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. We are continuing a little series of videos about doing what is called percent complete draw requests, and I'm going to click this button for draw requests. We did a first video about doing percent complete draw requests, which is one of the styles that CHS offers. We also have ones for Cost Plus, but our first video we talked about, I'm going to select our demo job, we talked about how you should probably have your job budget done, and I'll jump back over to the job budget for just a minute, to where you've applied markup percents that actually equal your total contract price if this is a fixed job. And you'll notice back on the draw request menu that it's fixed, that we marked it as fixed using the tool on the budget worksheet where we mark the contract type and calculate a price, which you can also open right here from the draw request menu too if you need to look at it or do something about that. But generally the percent complete draw request is used when you have a fixed contract, not a cost plus, because you'll be drawing percents of this total budget marked up. You'll be drawing percents of that up to, through to your last draw, to maybe the price of the contract. So if we go back to draw request menu, what we're going to do is try to create our first percent complete draw request. So I'm going to click this button that includes the percent complete. It has detected that I don't have any previous draws, and so I will select percent complete and open the percent complete draw worksheet. Now what it has done, if you look here, is it's brought in the budget marked up, and you can see that the total of this entire column is that $442,506.45, the marked up amount of the budget. It is also brought in based on cost codes assigned to change orders, the prices of change orders. Now you can make a decision as to whether you're producing change orders and then collecting just straight for those change orders, and then I'll show you how to not include them in these percent complete draw requests. But basically, in a way, if you're going to be doing interim draw requests, you might want to go ahead and just include the change orders that are here, and then mark those as paid when you get the money for the draw request, so that it all flows. I did have builders request that the change orders show up here, and you could draw them that way while you're doing percent complete, because it's basically sort of changing your price when you do approve change orders up to this amount, and then you start drawing on those. But of course, if you're drawing from a bank or something, you might want to get rid of these change order amounts when you do your percent. This column here is for you to put in a percent, and I'll show you the tool for that here in a moment. And then it's going to track what you've drawn previously, and we'll talk about retention of percent here in a minute. And then it'll have ready to draw. So let's just see what's going on here. Notice that the first line is building permits. I can drill down on the budget amount. Anything in blue, usually underlined, you can drill down on. And I can see how that marked up total happened based on a budget plus a market percent, and that it's for 2 building permits. And if I drill down on this over here is in a way for information only, but it can be used to figure out your percent complete here in a minute. I can drill down on actual costs that have been posted for that cost code. You don't have to have actual costs posted yet in order to decide on a percent to draw, but this is for information, and I can see basically that we have only posted one of the permits and not both of them. So let's see what happens if I try to do a percent complete for that. I could decide I'm going to draw this whole amount. In other words, 100% budget plus COs, and I want to just use the 100%. So notice what happens when I put in 100%. We suddenly have in the ready to draw column the amount of the budget marked up. But maybe I just want to draw for some reason based on costs we've posted so far. So I can still click on that percent complete number, and this is cost to date marked up, and it figures out a percent of the total budget. And I could click the button to use that. And now you'll notice that the amount in this column is the marked up amount of that $500 invoice that we did. You can also type in your own. Let's say I just want to draw, I don't know, 1,000 of this. I'm doing this just to show everything that you can use. Or maybe I just want to put that it's 50% complete for whatever reason. That makes more sense based on framing or something else than it does these building permits. But now it calculated 50%. So see there, the calc total complete. It'll show you that here. What happens really is it'll take away any prior drawn and then put ready to draw over here for your current. But we'll see that in our second draw request. The other thing is I could just type in some amount I wanted to draw and let it figure out. Whoops, I clicked a thing too fast, sorry. Let it figure out, maybe I want to draw 1,000 of that for whatever reason. It calculates a percent for me, and I can use that. So now it's just drawing 1,000. So you see that that tool is very flexible for putting in the various percents. Let's go back and leave this one maybe just at the cost amount that we have posted so far, $625. So you have different tools for putting in your percents. Now next time in the next draw you'll see maybe we come in and we change that to 100%. If we do this draw, it'll have $625 in the prior drawn, and then it'll just put the difference in the ready to draw once I put 100% in there. There's a couple of tools up here. First of all, this button to the right here that says calculate total percent complete, just in case you're interested. And so it's only showing 0.14% of the total budget plus COs, because I've just done one line, which is a little bitty amount of the total of all of this. That's just an information button. I'd also like you to watch, if you click the help button, there's another video that it has actually already been done. If you are making use, as I strongly suggest that you do, of setting up job stages and attaching job stages to your cost codes in your cost codes master, and then watching what stages are complete on a job based on somebody updating the schedule or just entering stages complete, you can actually use that button. And there's a video here about doing that with a whole other job that I'd like you to watch about using the tools there, because what you can do, if you click this button, notice how there's stages attached to these cost codes showing here and what stage they're in. If you click that button, and I'm not going to do it in this video because I want to do other things, but if you click it, you can say I want to update through stage so-and-so. You can view the latest stage for this job, which happens to be stage 9. So demos that I do don't make much sense. Your first draw, of course, you might just be through stage 0 or something. But you can view what the latest stage is. Then you select a stage and you use this button to update the draw percents to 100% for all cost codes through that selected stage. But I'm not going to use that tool right now. We're talking about doing it one at a time. Let's take a look at this line, and I'd like to show you how you can notice how we have posted these costs, which are pretty close to our budget. So it's likely we might want to say 100% here and draw this full $21,000. It's not drawing these costs because this is a fixed contract. It's drawing percents of the budget, total budget. But let's say I just don't want to include change orders. What I could do is click this, and that's because I'm collecting for them separately and I don't want them in this draw, is I could click this percent button. I can move this window over a little bit, and I can say I just want to draw the marked up budget amount. So I could type that in 156.75 and use that. You need to tab out of it so it'll do its calculation, and then you do use this, and I typed that number wrong by 50 cents. So let's try it again. 20156.25. Use this. And so in my ready to draw column, there's just that amount, not the change order amount that I'm ready to do. Is warranty fees, I think I'll do 100% of those. because I can see that I've also posted the costs, so I'll just use 100% of that. There's no change orders. Haven't done any costs for these yet. It's kind of bizarre, but because this is a demo job, but I've done some for this, some for this, some for this. And I could go through those and just start putting my 100% on the ones that are done if I like, you know, that kind of thing. So that's how you create and start putting in amounts to draw. Now let's just play like this is our first draw. And what you'd want to do if you are collecting for change orders, by the way, is you need to scroll, see what change orders are posted, and notice that we have put in this large amount of costs here. We might want to go ahead and be sure we do 100% on that if we are collecting for change orders, and we want the change order money included. You would use this 100% for that. Let's go ahead and include our change order money in these. I've shown you how you can not include them, but let's go ahead and include them, because I'm going to show you how to do a payment with those change order monies. Let's see what other change orders might show up here. Now we can see we really have posted a ton of costs, some costs that are as much or more than this total here. So let's just do 100% of the budget plus change orders. Like I said, if you're collecting for change orders separately, you would want to do that. Now, what we're going to do here is, because what we want to do is go ahead and draw for any change orders we've entered. Notice that we haven't entered any actual costs yet, but let's go ahead and just draw for the change order amount. So let's put the amount 937.5 here. Use this. Now, early on your first draw, this won't be going on. I'm doing this as if, you know, and this is 375 is all we've spent, so we just do want to use, and that will include, that's that change order cost, so we do have that because it's showing ones. So we'll do that one. We haven't spent anything on this one yet. We haven't actually posted any actual cost, but we still want to draw our change order price. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And we're just playing like we just issued a whole bunch of change orders early in the thing. We also want to draw for this change order. We actually demonstrated doing one where after we did the original budget, we also gave them a credit for ceramic tile floor because they changed it to hardwood. So if we want to draw for this change order, we actually need to do both these lines. And if I do minus 750 here, I'd like to show you what happens. This is the credit, and it's doing a minus amount. And it says a negative drawn will be, a negative amount to draw will be posted, and this can be okay if it's a credit for something else. So you'll notice we have a minus amount here, but we're also going to draw this $1,500 only for that change order and use this. And that's all. Let's see if there's any more. I got all carried away and did all these change orders. You can see actually that we have posted costs for all of this for the total appliance package. Apparently we paid it early. And so we'll just use that cost to date amount. It causes it to go a little over our budget. Let's just use the budget amount 02, because we're just drawing on our change order prices plus our budget. And we still have another one. We haven't spent any money on it, but we want to go ahead and draw that $3,000. And bear in mind, this is just a worksheet to help you figure out things and produce a draw request and ask for a certain amount of money, and then track prior money you've drawn prior. Let's play like we've gone through and done, you know, some other things. Maybe we for sure want to, maybe we've paid, we've done 100% for the framing. Maybe we've done the rough plumbing, so we want to do 100% of it. We want to go ahead and draw the whole budget. So anyway, you can see that. I won't take up any more time on this video. We have this amount ready to draw now based on all the stuff that I did. So the next step that you do, and I'm going to come back, well, these percents will stay here. What I'd like to do is go ahead and close this, and I'd like to open the job setup window, and I want to go ahead and put a retention on this for just a second, and I'm going to take it back off. But maybe you're supposed to do a 10% as you do draws, and then towards the end of the job you would come back and change this to 0 to draw those, so that it'll calculate and draw those. But let's save that for a minute. Close this, reopen that percent complete. It again can tell that we haven't ever really posted one yet, a draw, but it did hold on to all the percents that I was doing. But now notice calc total complete, that's a result of these amounts times a certain percent. It's calculating the total complete, showing prior drawn that we don't have any, and then suddenly you'll see this 10%, and if you click the question mark button, it tells you that you need to do that on the job setup window. And now it's calculating a retention amount, so it's taking the total complete minus prior drawns, which we don't have any, minus a retention amount, and the amount in ready to draw is the amounts less 10%. Now near the end of the job, after you've done several draws, you would, like I said, come back and change that percent, which we'll open it again on the job setup window. You would change that percent back to 0 so that you could, so all of a sudden it would take care of including retention amounts you'd held out before. But I'm just going to change it right now because we're not going to have retention in our draws. So we'll open it again, and you can see that it's not holding any retention amounts now up here at the top. So ready to draw is 111,000 based on these calculations. So the next thing that you do is you click Store, Print, and Post Draw Request. And first, this is a window that opens that has 3 different styles for printing the draw requests, and we'll look at those different styles. Actually, in this, I'd like you to watch the other video about producing percent complete draw requests by stages, and to see what this particular printout looks like. You have some information button over here, job revenues, no sales tax, revenues with sales tax, and change orders. But first I'd like you to notice there's a little box right here in the center that says it's about the signature area, and I just clicked in it and a rich text box opened so that I could change this. And then if I do some changes on it, I would do save, and this is a box that will print at the top of draw requests, so you can control that and what will print. You can see our draw amount here. So let's take a look. Let's first look at the draw request summary by group. Let's take a look at the detailed draw request, and that means it's going to show all cost codes. And I choose the selection that will also include my revenues and my change orders, especially because I'm drawing for change orders in my draw, and I'm not collecting for them separately. It told me it prepared a PDF, and it stored it in our CHS file cabinet, and it's put some tags on it, like the job code, note about this, who the home buyer is, and it has a tag of draw request on it. And that way, if you ever open your full file cabinet and you're looking for all your draw request printouts, you can search for just draw requests for certain jobs. I a lot of times will change the draw title. You can let it be whatever you want to be more descriptive, but that's the one CHS starts out with, and let's save that tag. But once it's open, you can open that draw request by clicking open. It has been stored as a PDF, and that's why this doesn't open immediately. And then you would probably use a download feature right here to send it to your own PDF reader and do whatever you like with it, like email it, print it, etc. But you can see that this has all of the cost codes under group headings, and it's showing our completed costs, what percent that represents, prior drawn, retention, and this draw. Now this draw will equal the completed cost right now because it's our first draw. So since it has all the cost codes, you go through a few pages here, and you can see completed cost is the same as this draw. Now if you had, on the job setup window, you had put a buyer sales tax percent it would have that here. It would calculate a tax amount, a sales tax amount, and then have the total with tax here being your total draw. And then it gives some other information. The difference between total completed earned is the amount we've marked as completed with our percents, less payments received, so earned balance due would be this, and this has to do basically with if the job stopped today. They did give us a $10,000 down payment, but they would owe us this amount, earned balance due, if we stopped the job. So that number, based on things you've entered here, especially if you're collecting change orders separately, might not be the same amount as what your current draw request amount is, just for information. And notice down here it will show all job revenues we received so far, which is just that $10,000 down payment, and then various change orders that we've posted, and we would use that from our printout when we're posting our payment. So let's close this, and let's just take a quick look. Now notice that it's not until I click to close this window about tagging that it asks me if I really want to post this draw request. And by posting it, it then can capture things that are prior drawn. But I'm not ready yet. I want to just take a glance for you at the other style that's here, this draw request only. I'm just going to open it because this is not the one I'm going to post. So I'm just going to open draw request only without the revenues, just so it'll get itself open a little quicker and we can take a glance at it just real quick. And by summary, it means it's not going to show all those cost codes. It's just going to show the groups. And see how, so there's just groups, cost code groups, not cost codes themselves. And so it's summing those up together and figuring a percent. And you'll of course have less pages of that because it's just the group summary that it's doing for the draw request. Same amount, but it's just a summary. So I'm going to close that, close that, close that, and no, go back to draw style selection because I actually prefer the one with all the cost codes, and I want to store one with revenues. And by the way, every time you say no, don't post it, CHS just gets rid of the PDF. It's stuck in your file cabinet. When you do post it, it'll hang on to it. So let's do that. I don't need to look at it. I already did. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to say yes, post this draw request. And it said it's been posted. And this window that opens now will start to be a list of your various draw requests that you have posted. You can click to view that stored PDF of your draw request right here. You can click to see a draw summary of the draw to see which cost codes and how much you drew, which is just a summary and of the cost codes. These two buttons here do not relate to percent complete draws, and you'll be told that because percent complete is not really drawing on your actual cost posted like cost plus jobs are. So that's what that part's about. So that's how you produce your first percent complete draw request, or any of them. And I'm going to stop this video and continue to the next video to show how to post a payment for that draw request that included change order money in it for change order prices, etc. And thank you for watching.